Hey guys, what's going on? So today we are checking out the Diamondback Sync'r 24. This is my kid's bike. Um, and Diamondback actually doesn't make this anymore. So it's kind of like, why am I even doing this vid? It's in case you're shopping around the used bike market, or maybe you find one of these bikes, brand new at a bike shop, still sitting around. This is supposed to, I'm hoping this is informative for a lot of people. So let's go over the bike front to back. Up front, this bike, it has a 720 millimeter wide handlebar, a Diamondback branded handlebar. This is a 31.8 clamp or handlebar, same with the stem and clamp diameter. This is this 1 1/8 head or steer tube mated to an SR Centaur XCM fork. It is not an air fork, it is a coil fork. So there's no rebound adjust. If you can see here, there's just like a nut, and it's just on both sides to hold this. The travel on here is like, I want to say roughly about 80 millimeters. Kind of interesting thing, I've ridden this bike. The springs on here are real firm. So even for a guy like me who's in the 200-pound range, I mean, in the softest setting, this fork is pretty stiff. What you can do is remove the spring from one of the stanchions, and it'll still work. It's perfectly fine to do that. I've like tested it out, and it works pretty good. Then it's a softer fork, but with both springs on here, it is impressively like stiff, and with no rebound control on here, the thing's just topping out like crazy. So things to consider. And also, you know, the kind of cool part about this fork is it's easily serviceable. It's grease, even some tri-flow, and it's just very bare bones, easy, you know, a budget fork to work on. The tires on here are 24-inch wide tires, or I mean, they're 24-inch diameter tires, and they're 2.6 wides. They're made by the V Tire Company. They are mated to, and check this out, this is kind of cool. It's a 15 by 110 front hub, Novatec front hub, and it's a 142 by, or 12 by 142 rear Novatec hub out back. So not boosting back, but it is pretty impressive, you know, for what you're getting. You know, this bike comes out, when I bought the bike, it was under 700 bucks, like all in all, including Washington state tax, which is about roughly in at least 10%. So yeah, is it high? It is, in my opinion, but I guess other states might be higher, not Oregon. But anyway, on here the details are 24-inch wheels, age 8 through 12. The height is for kids that are like 53 to 62 inches tall. Here, this is a Shrem SX crankset. It's 155. All the rage for adult bikes now, I guess. It's definitely, you know, and this bottom bracket's been smooth. I suspect that it's one of those, you know, it's clearly not a dub cassette. I think this is like a BSA, maybe 76, you know, the 68, 73 kind. I don't know if this score tapered or not. I have not yet taken these off. You do get these Diamondback flat pedals on here, which are metal, and it's nice, like really nice, robust kind of product. I forgot to say, even up front, this is pretty cool. So this is a 180 rotor, and that's a 160 in the back. So it's a kind of pretty cool that kids get, you know, sort of an aggressive bike in a way. Oh yeah, and then these are Alex rims here. They're 28 hole, both front and back. On these rims, the internal diameter of them is like 30 millimeters, like you would get on a 29er bike, for example, for an enduro bike. Like that's what I run on my stuff, like, and so, you know, that it definitely accommodates this 2.6 wide tire real well. It's not tubeless ready though. You would have to change the rim tip if you do want to run it tubeless. I think these tires are tubeless compatible. I am running tubes on here for the time being, so you know, when we cross that bridge of me getting tired of fixing flats because there's a bunch of blackberries here in the Pacific Northwest where I live, I'll probably transition to that, or maybe even earlier, who knows. I just got so many other bike projects going on. And I will say kind of an interesting site, and this is what the tread pattern looks like on both on the front and back of this this bike. I will say kind of another thing, if you're thinking about, you found this bike, you're thinking about buying it, you're watching this video and you're like, you know, things to consider. One thing I would definitely consider is this bike does not have room. There's no water bottle cage mount section here, so it's on the crud, what I call the crud catcher area, in which obviously all that stuff is going to end up on your kid's water bottle. What I'd recommend is having them rock a hip pack with where they can carry a water bottle or two of them, or you know, like a Camelback, something of that nature. I don't think putting a water bottle here is all that great. Maybe a tool or a storage kit, you know, one of those things. But then that I used to rock old bikes that had the water bottle cage mounts down here, and it sucks, especially here because it rains, it's all mud. You know, even if it's dry, crap gets on the water bottle. You don't want to deal with wiping it off every single time, you know. So there's that. A cool feature about this bike, one other one, is I think these are ODI branded grips, or I mean they're Diamondback branded, but I'm pretty sure ODI makes them based on how good they feel. Very nice. I will say the brakes feel really good on here for being Shimano brakes. They are the mineral oil type. You know, if anybody was wondering and doesn't know their Shimano brakes that well, yeah. And so they're not running dot fluid. Here's an FSA headset, so it does steer smooth. It's real nice. One part swap I did do is I changed out the rigid seat posts and I put a PNW kids dropper on here. Bought one refurbished for about, I want to say, under $150 all in all. And you know, on PNW cycled. This was quite some time ago, like over a year ago from when I put this video out, and it's done pretty well. It's an externally routed dropper. I've had to route it a little bit funky on here. I just wanted to make sure it even works before I start tightening it up. It works for what my kid does, so you know, it's not like he's catching it on the wheels. I know people are going to be like, that's the crappiest routing ever, but you know, it works. Anyway, also mounted this to a wolf tooth dropper lever. I like these. These light action levers feel real nice. They're really easy to actuate and move. Really simple to install. The parts come cheap, so if this breaks, you know, you spend like $5 plus shipping and you can get the replacement. So if your kid crashes, which my kid already has done on this bike, you know, going downhill, if this were to ever break, you know, you're not out a full dropper. You just have to, you know, replace this little assembly here, because it's meant to break off in the event of a crash, and really easy to install and replace. So back here, you know, it's a SRAM SX drivetrain. You know, mated to a 30-tooth chainring up front, and then here it's the 1150-tooth SRAM SX cassette, and it's a 12-speed. It's pretty nice. I'm impressed. Like that the kids get like some of the nice adult bike creature comforts that you don't see in a lot of kids bikes of this price range, I don't think. And here, you know, runs a SRAM SX rear derailleur, and the saddle is a Diamondback. You know, it's definitely a kid's saddle. It's smaller than most adult saddles. It has this little dip here. I've sat on this bike. I've even ridden it. It's a really sturdy bike. I'm impressed. Weight-wise, we're talking about, it's got to be in the range of at least, I want to say maybe 27 pounds, if that. I haven't confirmed that weight. But the saddle here is pretty narrow. I have small hands, just to give you an idea of how wide it is. So I wear size small latex gloves, for example. And that's the width, because I haven't measured this out, but it's got to be narrow. I think it's narrower than 14 millimeters. And then lengthwise, you know, it's probably like maybe half an inch or to an inch shorter than most adult saddles, but still a very comfortable saddle. I mean, this setup is very nice for this, for what kids are getting for the price. You know, and I got this on sale at the bike shop called Go Huck Yourself Bikes. This is one of their chainstay protectors, made by Lizard Skins, and you know, fits real nice. There isn't a cable, so it's not going to interfere. There's still clearance not rubbing on here. And you know, in case there's no chainstay protection on here stock. So this is why I got this. That's a primary reason, so you know, it doesn't chip out the frame over time. But anyway, that is it. I'm gonna be doing a, you know, the next bit is my kid riding North SeaTac Park on this bike, just to give you an idea what it looks like when you're like 11-year-old kids riding it. But if you have any questions about this bike, you're you know, looking in the used bike market or whatever, at least hopefully this is educational or informative, and you can make your decisions of what the bike looked like stock, well, mostly stock, and kind of go from there. I know there's not a lot of great material on Google and stuff, and you know, so this is why I put out this video of this kid's bike. So hopefully all you know, those of you that applies to you appreciate it. Anyway, that is it. Feel free to drop some comments and enjoy the rest of the vid. All right, see you in the next one. Bye.